Wait, a glass half full? You want to be a podcaster? You're not oppressed. You're not gay. Welcome to Wasted Potential Podcast. I am your host, Ronnie, and we're back with a glass half full episode. And with me, the return of the homeless hero, the ankle biter from down under the bridge downtown. Hobo Dan is back. Hello, Hobo Dan.
Hey, I'm alive. Thanks for having me. Thank you. Cue the music, Ron. No, that's good. I like the Rocky. I might give you a couple more things you can play, but I like that one. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so the question on everyone's mind is, where you been, Dan? I don't think you've been on the podcast since like last October. I think it's been almost a year, right? Have you been on it all this year?
Did we do something for, was it Christmas?
You didn't go, though. We did Dreamcatcher, I think, was last Christmas, and I don't think you were there.
Oh, yeah, I did bail on that one. So, yeah, it's probably been a year. It's a 1-year anniversary. But dude, I blacked out for, like, I guess 3 or 4 months, and then I just woke up at a bar. You know, like, have you seen that? Like, it's a viral video now of, like, the Reno 911 scene where he's like, the one guy's driving with the bowl cut. I always forget his name, officer or something. And he's just like, oh shit, I just had like the craziest dream. And then Dangle's like, you know you're driving, right? That was me at a bar. I'm like, oh shit, I'm here. Oh yeah.
Wrecking up.
But yeah, happy to be back. Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of shit talking on Shane coming from him, and then other podcasts that I don't like to talk about.
Well, we don't have to talk about those people whatsoever because we're here to talk about something. Dan, we were trying to catch up. I think we 2 months ago talked about doing this film, and we had scheduling conflicts. But now we're here. We're ready to get us going past spooky season and into November season. I don't think this is a November movie, but regardless, Dan, what film did you want us to talk about?
Well, today we are talking about a film that I guess we'll get more into how it's under the radar, but it is the 2002 film called Orange County. And, Ron, I think you and I, before even like when we tried to plan this, we talked about doing this film for like years, because I think, I don't want to speak for yourself, but we've seen this film like a long time ago. I mean, I think we love this film still, but we can get into that more later. But this film's got a lot of loose connections as well to other films we've kind of talked about too. And I think some of you and Shane as well. So, good little film that we've been waiting to do for a long time. And then finally, here in November, like you said, perfect timing for Orange County. Am I right?
Yeah, I would say like there's a lot, also not a lot to talk about with this movie, but it's kind of like all the people who are in it or been in it have kind of gone on to do, different things. So then like this time frame of 2002, you had a bunch of young actors in this, and then you also had a lot of older actors, kind of like this in between of all their lives there. So, but you and I can only podcast alone on Jack Black films or movie or things that have loose connections to Colin Hanks or John Lithgow, which we can get into in a second.
I know, right? That's one of my notes. Yeah.
Yeah, but Dan, since people have forgotten about this movie, can you give us a brief synopsis of Orange County?
Yeah, I'm going to do like a simple one, and I think the best way to describe this film later is just go by the characters, and that might help talk about the film more, but we can disagree about that. But
no, I think I agree with like focusing on the characters might be the best way of tackling this movie.
Yeah, and then one point off you mentioned earlier, since we only do Jack Black films, I guess we got to do fucking Minecraft next with Jack Black, so that'll be a fun one.
No.
Who are you?
I am Steve.
No, that'll be the next Christmas one. Oh, spoilers. Sorry.
Oh no.
Because I always torture you guys with films. But synopsis: we start off with the story of Sean Brunder, who lives in the title of the movie, Orange County, California. He was once a slacker, surfer, but then finds a book on the beach and gets inspired and wants to become a writer and go to Stanford for college. Again, he's in high school with all of his surfer slackers. And then the story ends up going into a clusterfuck. Maybe you shouldn't say clusterfuck, but shenanigans ensue on his dream to go into Stanford and study with, what's his name? Marcus Skinner is the author of the book. And then his dream to go to Stanford doesn't happen because by a horrible college counselor. And so now his dream is gone. So he tries to involve his family to help him out to get into Stanford. He tries to do whatever he can to fix this issue that he has. And then this adventure ensues. And then the adventure basically gets into... I'll just do a couple little points because we'll get into it. He tries to involve his dysfunctional family to help him get into Stanford. Bob gets hurt, bleeds more. Jack Black gets naked and starts a revolution with the admissions counselor. The dean of admissions takes ecstasy accidentally. A building burns down and a marriage is restored. So I think that's the synopsis of Orange County in small little nutshell.
Yeah, it's just like every scene, it just introduces a new character, and then they just get tied up in this, like a comedy of errors that could be solved with one phone call. But who cares if the college counselor, Lily Tomlin, our first kind of comedic actress, veteran actress there, if she just called Stanford and clarified this, there'd be no movie. But who cares? It doesn't matter. Like the plot doesn't matter because it's just every little scene, just kind of like a fun vignette of silliness, and that's kind of what this movie is. It's just like a silly scene after scene. Some famous character comes in, has like a 3-minute fun little scene, and then they kind of leave, and that's just kind of how it is. But it kind of ties into like the whole theme of the movie. The writer also, the real life writer too, kind of thing. But yeah. So Sean's it's pretty PG-13. Like it's obviously PG-13, but like he seems like a slacker or a stoner. He says, "I just want to get laid and party." But he's still, they keep him kind of innocent still. But yeah, and he finds, a copy of Catcher in the Rye, and instead of wanting to murder the president, he just wants to be a writer. He just changes his life there.
And then I think I wrote my notes, like he finds a book in a shoe randomly on the beach, and I'm like, it's Orange County. I don't know it too well, but I'm like, no one's leaving a book in Orange County. No one's reading in Orange County. Get the fuck out of here. And leaving books there. Come on, they're throwing it into the ocean. They don't give a crap. They're not going to leave it on the shore or on the beach.
Here you go, Dolphin. Read some young adult fiction. But yeah, let's start with that. Actually, let's start with the setting. Let's start with because you and I are born and raised in Southern California. So this kind of like is our bread and butter. Like we didn't grow up in the OC. Like we weren't rich kids, but like we're fully aware of this stereotypical California vibe where everything's vapid and shallow, and they're all just like caught up in their own California world and like don't like have anything important to say. So like the Orange County High, like Sean, and then the writer, I almost said Mike White, doesn't have a high regard for the people of Orange County. I think they're all stupid. And I think like the best way is like in the beginning of the movie when like we see Sean's world, like he's like a class president, and they're sitting there, and the principal, the first, I think her first kind of show up of comedian legend asshole Chevy Chase. He basically
just playing himself.
Yeah. So like the girlfriend character, she wants to save, I think, seagulls, right?
Principal Harper, as you may know, there was an oil spill last week off the Costa Redondo, and today's paper just says hundreds of seagulls have been affected. So I propose a school-sponsored fundraiser with all the proceeds going to the Seagull Rehabilitation Fund.
Fine. One more. Last one. After this, we'll let all sick and endangered animals die horrible deaths. Agreed? Let's talk graduation speakers. Ideas?
Toni Morrison. She's in town that same weekend for a book signing. She's won the Nobel Prize.
Interesting. Dana, Didn't you say you have a cousin who's friends with Britney Spears?
Yeah, best friends.
That was just. I think that scene. There's so many little like silly like lines, and it's like you going back to what you mentioned earlier. Like these big heavy hit actors come in for 3 minutes, say their amazing lines, and just go to the next one. It's kind of like heavy punches of just 2 or 3 sentences per scene of these heavy actors that just say their wonderful like lines, and it's the next scene. This sets the tone for the whole like film.
Yeah, I think this movie is like whimsical and like not in like a Garden State kind of way where it's kind of up its own ass, but it's a very kind of, it's not a hilarious movie, but it's a very like funny kind of thing. So I think you gotta be in the mood for like
silly.
You know, it's silly, right? Because like I think like the Chevy Chase scene works for me. Whenever John Lithgow or Moira Rose are on scene, they're great. The Ben Stiller scene's phenomenal. We'll get there, but then I guess we get more later. But like, I feel like it's not hilarious for even having some of the best comedy legends of like the '90s, 2000s in there. But we can get into that. So yeah.
Going off that, do you think it's a dry comedy? You would say?
Yeah, it's subtle. Dry. It's dry. I'd say subtle. Like a lot of it's kind of just like. Not like hilarious, like laugh out loud. Some of it is like some of it with Jack Black's hilarious, but most like just like Bob banging on the window and like the head injury and this and stuff like that. Like that whole scene actually, that's my favorite scene. Is the scene when they invite over Tanya's like grandfather to the admissions office. Like that whole chunk is like the best part of it, which we can get into. Like that's the reason why. But I guess starting with like. Orange County, it's very shallow, and it's the whole like crux of this, right? Sean feels like he's too good for Orange County, and then everyone's kind of stupid and up their own ass, and he wants to get out and go to Stanford because of a mistake. He can't go now, so the whole entire scene, the whole movie, is I want to get into Stanford. Yeah. So I kind of thought like this was like a road trip movie because the road trip movies are very popular this time, this decade, but it's not really a road trip movie. It's I for some reason thought it spent more time at Stanford, but I think just like the last 25-minute chunk of it kind of takes place in Stanford. So it's not really a road trip movie, but it's kind of like just like a scene, a moment, kind of little like silly gimmicks to get to like the silly setups and jokes kind of movie.
Yeah, it's like, okay, let's do this scene so we get to this scene, let's do this funny part to get to this scene. It's pretty like cut and dry and simple. It's kind of a simple plot, but it doesn't go into a simple plot, if that makes sense. Like it's kind of weird adventure. Go here. Oh, now we're going here. Oh, now they're at this party. Oh, now he's at the actual college talking to someone. Now he's at this party, and all this stuff.
Yeah, well, like that's like the usual plot setup for comedy, right? It's just like how do we get the plot to go to these moments and scenes? Like how do we get there? And I think the movie is fine and does it effectively of getting us to like the funny kind of stuff there. But I think this movie also hinges upon how you feel about Sean. How do you feel about Sean and AKA Colin Hanks as a character?
Yeah, and he's playing a teenager. And remember, this is probably one of your. I think this is one of your first questions. Like rewatching this one again. We watched this one maybe about 8 months ago, and I showed it to my broad for the first time, and she thought it was funny, but she fell asleep because she's always tired. Unlike me, who is always awake under the bridge at night. But he's kind of a whiny little bitch, yeah. and he just expects everyone to help him, and he does kind of deserves some help because he just kind of got fucked by people around him because everyone around him is just an idiot. And he is a whiny little bitch, but you kind of feel bad for him because he's just in between a rock and a hard place, like between a whiny bitch, but then like everyone is so dysfunctional and just selfless and doesn't care about just anything other than themselves. Like his dad, his drunk mom, like his guidance counselor, or like you said, Lily Tomlin is just incoherent and just like, oh, that's not you. Uh-oh. That sucks.
Okay. And are you a student here?
Yes, I'm a student here. I'm Sean Brumner. I'm the class president.
And you didn't get into Stanford? Too bad. Tough break. Where else did you apply?
Nowhere. You told me I was a shoo-in.
Nowhere? Not even a safety school?
You said shoo in.
Let's calm down. Let's see what we can do. I'm just going to pull up your file.
That's not my transcript. That's Shane Brainerd's transcript.
And you are?
Sean Brumder. No. No, you didn't. You sent in the wrong transcript?
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
You just don't throw accusations around here. This is nobody's fault.
Yes, it is. It's your fault.
You know you're screeching at me.
Because you are a moron.
And then, like, his friends are deadbeats, so no one's helping him. So he's like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it on my own. But then maybe the most dysfunctional and idiotic person, his brother, played by Jack Black, is the one to help him. And I'm like, so you're kind of in the middle of, like, does he deserve this? Or, like, do we root for him? But at the end of the day, like, rewatching him, like, I root for him, and I feel bad for him in some way, but I'm like, it comes at a good little turn. How it ends is, like, he finally realizes, again, spoilers, that, like, he can still be the writer he wants to be in Orange County. It doesn't dictate where you're at in life or where location. You can still be a good writer. So it's kind of got a little bit of a good arc, and I'm like, it's kind of like cliche, but like most comedies are for that. But yeah, I remember watching it, and I'm like, do I care about him? I'm like, does he really deserve to be to Stanford? But then I'm like, yeah, he does. Just get out, but then good little ending, like, okay, he can still do what he wants, and then surf with his dumbass friends.
Yeah, the whole lesson is learning that, like, I think that one of the best things that kind of captures this is when Sean tells his dad, played by John Lithgow, which is going to be our first Dexter connection, right? When like they're both murderers on the TV show Dexter. There's a fun, and you and I did a deep dive into the Dexter first 8 seasons, then did one episode on the new season, and we said, fuck it, we're good.
Oh, don't worry. There's another series coming out, I heard.
Yeah, well, we gave up on that. Like, I don't think we ever talked about it, and I was like, it's fine. But I don't ever have interest in revisiting any of that again. But John Lithgow says, like, the best thing ever. You want to be a writer? Why? You're not oppressed. You're not gay. And I think that kind of
the gay thing got me so bad.
It was so funny because what's great about it is it's kind of self-reflective of the writer Mike White, because he's a gay writer, and he's like a white guy, grew up in Orange County, so he's not oppressed. So I think it's kind of like a nod at himself, kind of just like laughing at himself for saying that. But I think that captures how I feel about Sean. Is like he's like comes from a rich, wealthy family and is a good setup, and he gets screwed over. So like I think he deserves to get like, you know, something like to help him out, but he also kind of whines, and then it's like the dumb lesson, but I think it works because he's a high schooler, right? He doesn't see the things down the road. He just sees, I want this, it's all I want, and I'm kind of forgetting about all the other important things, which would just be, you know, his girlfriend, right? Because she's wonderful, but everyone else around him would make me want to leave too, because they're all like helplessly just like destructive and selfish. They're all just selfish, and I think Sean's guilty of that, but he kind of learns that humility. So sometimes towards the end of it, he gets whiny, but I think he's really funny. Like, maybe not relatable to me, but he's very, you know, he's very funny, yes. And I think it works. And I think Colin Hanks' performance helps off a lot. Like, he just, like, how blunt he is towards his brother and mother and father. Like, there's some great lines in this. One of my favorite lines is, he says,
Lance, some very important people are coming over to the house, so I need you to stay in your room.
Why?
Because you're an embarrassment.
Oh, okay.
Like that dynamic between Jack Black and Colin Hanks is great.
Yeah, and like shout out to Colin Hanks. Every time he does that face of like why or how, it's just wonderful.
It's hopeless. It's helpless and it's hopeless, and it's just hopeless. Like he's giving up on his family because he's so just like, what do I do? I'm the responsible one here. But I think he's kind of like got like an elitist attitude. He reads one book. Now he wants to be a writer and go to Stanford. But I think by the end of it, he has a more humbling realization of like, I can do all these things and I'm not better than anybody else, kind of thing. So I think it's redeemed. But I think you're right. Towards the middle, he gets a little whiny, but he has a full reason to be upset because everyone around him is just awful and just stupid.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't say awful, just stupid,
Incompetent.
just, maybe a little bit slapstick, incompetent. There you go. There, perfect. But so we went over the synopsis, and we kind of went over most of the characters. I have a list of characters that I wrote down, and all of like the big actors in it. Can I go over it because I think that just shows how this movie really goes.
Yeah, I would say like because in our usual fashion, the first question is, what do you like about this movie? I think you and I would both agree that number one is the characters. So let's go by character and character here.
Do you want me just to run off the list like real quick, or go one by one?
Let's just go one by one, and then we can just kind of say what interests us and what kind of scenes are good with them, and then that might lead us into other things we like about the film.
Okay, so my first one is the illiterate English teacher, high school teacher, Mike White.
The writer.
I need some feedback, and there's no one here to help me.
Got your story here, Sean. Wow.
I have the sneaking suspicion that my English teacher is illiterate.
I noticed you used a lot of big words. Nice. Good for you. It was a little long, so I didn't read the whole thing, but who cares because I gave you an A.
Which is, I thought that was another good scene where he's asking about Shakespeare, I think it is, and then I think Colin or Sean gives like a good answer, and he's like, okay, right, because in the one part, in that same scene is like, I think Mike White asked the question, and you can see Sean's hand go right up per usual, and he kind of looks at him like, I don't want to ask you, but then I think he asks, or he calls on like the I guess I don't want to the slut or like the cheerleader, I guess, character, and she gives like a bad answer, I think it is.
Now when I say Romeo and Juliet, who comes to mind? Dana?
Claire Danes.
That's right, Claire Danes. Who else?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right? Well, someone else was involved in that movie who in some ways is as famous as Leonardo DiCaprio. And his name's William Shakespeare. And some great movies are based on his plays. Hamlet, West Side Story, Talented Mr. Ripley, Waterworld, Gladiator, Chocolat.
Mr. Burke, as you know, my boyfriend drowned in a surfing accident. I don't think I can handle Romeo and Juliet right now, emotionally.
Tanya Ablani died a year ago.
Shout out to Mike White, because he also did School of Rock as well. So
yeah,
another loose connection.
If I can go on a tangent really quickly, Mike White and Jack Black were close, like friends. You did like what we did, like School of Rock, and then the big one he's known for now is, you guys seen White Lotus?
No, I haven't. I heard it's really good. Like, there's like 3 seasons of it.
Yeah, but Mike White is the writer, I think director too. But he won some Emmys for it. It's really good writing, but it's for his characters. So like that's what Mike White is good at, in my opinion, is characters. Like the plots are simple, but then he's really good at writing depthful characters. Like in the first season, it takes place in like Hawaii, and it's all these kind of very vapid, kind of like this movie where it's these very self-centered characters, and they all kind of like have their problems and they bond, family thing. The second season is what I really like. It's much darker and it's not as much fun as the first one, but I like it because it's all these like really messed up couples who are very self-involved and have communication issues, and they all make these really selfish decisions. And so I think that Mike White's really good at writing characters, and I think that's the whole thing of the movie, because that's what Marcus Skinner says to him at the end, right?
Your characters is what drives it. Yeah, right? Something like that, yeah.
The whole movie's about the characters, and I think Mike White, props to him, he's a good character writer.
Oh, good for him. I like Mike White, obviously, because School of Rock's one of our favorite movies as well.
Oh, yeah.
But my next character we already talked about a bit, but Chevy Chase, the principal who loves Britney Spears. And then we got the 2 friends who just want to poop on everything and touch each other's butts, right? Or maybe just touch each other's butts.
Yeah, they're I guess they're like closeted homosexuals. I don't know, like the joke is, no, you're gay, but not like gay in the way of like insulting, literally gay. But I don't know. I think they're just kind of
it's the humor back in the day in 2002. We call everybody gay.
Yeah, but like they both actually seem like they might be gay, because
Probably.
like there's a couple moments where he says like, oh, I woke up and he was fondling me. Another one says, get naked with me. So like, I don't know what that is. I think it's like the 2000s humor there, but It's like, okay, I guess it's kind of funny that these dude bros are gay. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just another example of how everyone around Sean is just incompetent and stupid.
Yeah.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, what's up, dude? Hey, dude, check this out. Last night, we were at this party, and little Arlo here, he decides to, like, profess his undying love for me. Did I tell you it was a fruitcake or what?
Bro, that's not true. This is the real story, dude. Chad crashed at my house, right? And I woke up in the night. He was fondling my knee.
Dude, I lost my keys. I was looking for them.
You guys want to come in?
All right.
And then the supportive girlfriend who just loves animals. And I don't want to get into one of your questions too early, but I love her.
Mm-hmm.
She's the only supportive person and just wants to help him and just help animals. Like the scene with the dog. I remember not laughing at it ever once, and then rewatching it again, where Sean's at his dad's house and she stays in the car, and then there's a stray dog on the side of the road. And she's like, "Oh, puppy!" And she just runs off. I just started laughing. I don't know why.
I laugh because that's my wife. That's 100% my wife. And
That
you know
is
it. That's
it's my broad too. The
no,
same
like
thing.
you have no idea how many times we've had to pull over and pick up a dog and then take it back home. I have so many stories about like having to pull over. So that's 100% my wife. That the animal lover who's like super supportive. But yeah, she's like I think my favorite character. She's this is where we get into nepo babies, because you have Colin Hanks, whose dad's Tom Hanks, and then you get Skylar Fisk. Her mom is Sissy Spacek. You know her from Carrie.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she looks just like her, because like once you see it, you're like, oh, she looks just like her mom. But yeah, they're like nepo babies is used as an insult, but I think both actors are really good. So like they earn their stripes in this movie. But yeah, she's my favorite character because she's just like constantly positive. She's a problem solver. She's the only one who is like actively trying to help Sean, and then he has his moment where he realizes he's being a dick and he's not taking he takes her for granted, so he learns his lesson too. But yeah, she's my favorite. Ashley, I think the character's name is.
Yes, and she brings everyone, or mostly Sean, back to the sanity level of being straight. Like the teeter's going this way or the other way. She helps to bring him back centered straight.
Yeah, it's like I like the scene where she's gonna blackmail her friend Tanya. That's like a really weird scene where it's got like Tanya being if anyone's gonna be called slut, Tanya's gonna be a slut. But then I also like the scene where Jack Black says he's gonna like sneak in and break into like the dean's office, and there's like this really good comedy break where he runs away, and she goes, I think he's registered like in the directory, and he goes, oh yeah, so they just walk away. Like she's always like the logical one. She's the one firmly planted on the ground when everyone else is just out of their fucking minds.
And then speaking of Jack Black, the deadbeat brother, who just wants to do drugs and wants to sell T-shirts as his new thing.
Let's talk about Lance.
I'm gonna do something with my life. Dude, I get these ideas. I got so many ideas burning through my skull, buddy. Like, I don't know, like hats and shirts. Like a fucking shirt that says loser. Or, I don't know, like I have to talk to the hand. Or something like that, man. Those would sell. Or, I got these ideas, like a hat. A big old hat that goes, you know? That's how to sell. Watch the road, dumbass! I love you, dude.
I love you too, Lance.
We don't say it enough. We don't say it enough. No. And it's true. And it's not the drugs, buddy.
He's probably my favorite like character, like in like a what's the way to describe it? Guilty pleasure. How about that?
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It's a burnout.
Yeah. My question, just off the bat, because we'll probably go off like in a 5-minute tangent on him.
Do it.
Do you think he's too much of a? He's too far. He's too like comedic in this thing, like in a way.
I think he's not in it enough to be obnoxious. It's kind of like if you remember back when we talked about Beetlejuice on our podcast a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, we did that.
It's been a long time. We talked about Beetlejuice. This is before they released that fucking sequel. But like I think Jack Black's like he's not in it a lot in the first half, but he's in it enough in the second half. I think he's there for the comedic. Like I think a lot of the laugh out loud humor comes from him. And then but yeah, I think his character is over the top, but I don't think he's in it too often. There's enough of Sean, his girlfriend, and the other characters to water it down. But like I think he's pretty great. Like for me, the funniest moments that'll at least laugh out loud moments come from him. Like the Ben Stiller fire scene is probably the best scene in the movie.
Hey.
Hey.
What's your name?
Joe. John.
What is it?
Joe John.
Name's Joe John?
Johnston, Joe.
You want to tell me what happened here?
There's a fire. I don't know. I came by and was checking out the fire.
Well, that lady, Mona, she said that you two were in the building when the fire started.
Yeah, she's a liar, because I don't know her. So whatever she says is a lie, so...
Okay, so you're saying you weren't in the building with that woman?
No, not I. All right. She started it, all right? Because she was like, I hate my job. I'm gonna burn this mother down. And I said, you better not. You better not.
She said it was an electrical fire.
It was. It was a total electrical fire. It was like, the switches had sparks coming out in the sockets, and, it's like the 4th of July, man.
Why aren't you wearing your pants, Joe?
I tripped, and, then I had to take them off to run faster out of the flames. I think I nailed some smoke. Will you excuse me 1 second? I'll be right back.
You got a sprinter, 5'5", no pants, unkempt, portly.
Yeah, that's one of my characters I wrote down. We don't have to talk about it too much. The firefighter just randomly shows up, and it's Ben Stiller. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, like I feel like I guess I haven't talked about this. The director is Jake Kasdan. That's speaking of Nepo babies, his dad's Lawrence Kasdan wrote The Empire Strikes Back, directed a lot of great movies, and also directed Dreamcatcher. shitty Christmas.
Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Lawrence Kasdan directed some classic movies, crazy classic writer of like Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and also directed fucking Dreamcatcher. But his son is more of a...
I did not know Dreamcatcher.
Yeah, well, his son's more of a comedy kind of director. He has more connections here. I wrote down the famous director of Bad Teacher, Sex Tape, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and Jumanji, The Next Level also has Jack Black and Colin Hanks in it as well. But he's more of like a, big budget kind of comedy, big studio kind of comedy filmmaker. So like he's like, nothing to me that stands out as, amazing. Like I like those Jumanji movies, just fine. They're fun little adventure things. But like, yeah, I think his dad or he called in a bunch of favors because this is a star-studded cast for people to come in, probably work for less than the SAG-AFTRA, like, basic minimum was to come in and have fun for this movie. But yeah, they call in a lot of favors, I'm guessing.
Yeah, which is surprising because the budget wasn't big on this film, and I don't think it didn't do too well. I think obviously, like, we're talking about this film. I don't think many people know about this film, and I don't want to use the phrase underrated, because I hate that term. But, like, it's under the radar. I think it's a better way, because I said it earlier, but, like, it's just under the radar, but there's so many freaking heavy hitters, stars in this film.
Yeah, I think box office-wise, it was pretty cheap, and I think it made its money back and a little bit more, but it wasn't, like, a crazy big one. But like, this is funny, too. I wrote this down because I was rewatching it last night. I said MTV Films. I said, are MTV Films still a thing?
Right.
So, getting a little background here, Viacom sold off Comedy Central, and MTV and all those things are all under Viacom, and now Paramount is the complete owner of it. And then Paramount gutted MTV and Comedy Central, like absolutely gutted. So the only thing I looked up the last few things that MTV Films Productions did, because it's a subsidiary under Paramount, was all those South Park like movie specials. That's about all that makes a South Park and Daily Show on Comedy Central, and then those come into there. I think that Dora the Explorer movie was MTV Films. So like, because those are also under Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon's also owned by Paramount. So really, MTV only takes its what do you call it, like tentpole, like name recognition stuff and makes movies, but it doesn't make anything like this anymore, where it's like like an indie kind of feel, indie vibe movie.
Yeah, wasn't the first Scream MTV Films or no?
Say it again. Scream? No, I think that's
No?
It might no, because I think those are Paramount too, but I don't think it was specifically MTV because that was. I don't know. I could look it up really quickly, but I don't think it was.
I thought I remembered seeing MTV on the first screen when we did it, but again, my memory's bad after the 3-month or 4-month blackout, so I don't know.
I don't think it was, but I think it was Paramount though, so it's probably.
Okay.
But here's the thing though. Now it's coming back to me. MTV did release a Scream TV show.
Oh yeah, I heard that wasn't too bad though, was it?
I think I watched a couple episodes, and like slashers aren't really my jam. I'm figuring this out more as I get older. I don't have a high tolerance for slasher films, but I don't remember it being terrible. But no, I think that might be where your brain's getting crossed. But it is all owned by Paramount. Paramount owns MTV.
Oh, okay. And then the divorced drunk mother, played by Catherine O'Hare. So I have a little thing about this one. I think this is either her prequel or post thing to her character for Schitt's Creek. I don't know which one. I think she's got like a couple years where she moved to Orange County and was there for a bit, and then got divorced again after this or before this.
And then married Johnny Rose.
Yeah, oh my gosh, she's just wonderful in this. She's also another person that I just laugh out loud with.
So now I'm a bad mother.
No, you're not. Will you please just put on some clothes?
I sacrificed a lot for you, Sean. I sacrificed Damien for you.
Your tennis instructor.
He was beautiful and Serbian. And when your father left, I almost married him. And if I had, we'd be living in a condo, clipping coupons, and eating lunch meat. So I didn't. I married Bob for you. I had sex with Bob 4 times for you. So how can you say I'm a bad mother?
I'm not saying that. Mom, you know that money can't buy happiness.
Oh, grow up. Yes, it can.
1 hour with no big scenes and no nervous breakdowns and no Meryl Streep impressions. Just 1 hour where you act like a normal, loving parent. Can you do this for me?
Oh, Sean. Yes, I can.
Thank you, Mom.
But I'll need a glass of wine. There's some Chardonnay in the fridge.
Yeah, that's Catherine O'Hare is wonderful. She's like from originally before Schitt's Creek, they were on SCTV, so that's connection to like Harold Ramis as well. Like it's at the Canadian SNL, and then you get like
that was fun. Yeah.
And then you get like the Best in Show. What's that comedy troupe called? It did like the Mighty Wind. It's It's like the I'm forgetting him right now, but it's like a Eugene Levy. Like they did a Spinal Tap. Like that whole comedy troupe. I'm forgetting him right now.
I just watched a documentary on what's his face, and he was on it. Or I saw something about Mike Myers, and he was on it too, I think.
Second City is where Second City like the whole that group up there
in Chicago.
Yeah, but then a lot of those actors came from Toronto because it's up there in Illinois, like in that kind of area. But yeah, like they did all those Christopher Guest kind of movies, those kind of like deadpan comedies, and then Catherine O'Hara plays a really good like drunk, like kind of on the edge of losing it. But she's wonderful in this. She's just constantly crying and like I guess going into like my favorite scene in the movie, like is the scene like I said before is when like they invite over like the last chance to get Sean in there, and they invite this this uppity rich couple to their home, and then Jack Black's naked asking for his piss. Catherine O'Hara is drunk and crying, and then Bob's bleeding, and it's all falling apart because like we said, the best part is the characters, and that's like the moment when all the characters come together and are kind of doing their shtick, and it all just hurts Sean, and she's great because she's like drunk and can't speak properly. And it's just crying. It's just wonderful.
Starts crying and burping. Every time she burps or goes like, I'm like, I just start laughing. It's just wonderful.
Hello! Hi, I'm Cindy Almond-Beekler.
Hello, I'm Arthur Ganther, my wife Vera.
How do you do? Hello, welcome. Excuse me. Won't you please make yourselves at home?
Yeah, the last few years have been really hard.
I helped my former husband start his business, and
As soon as he gets a little money, he starts screwing around on me. They left me for a 20-year-old he met at the gym. Oh. Yeah. I walked in on them at a motel in La Jolla. She's got him naked and handcuffed to the bed. So we divorced. I remarried. Then this new one, Bob, he starts falling apart. And it's just one shitstorm after the other.
Oh yeah, she's wonderful. She's always great. But yeah, and if you don't want Schitt's Creek, watch Schitt's Creek. It's wonderful.
I was adamant no for Schitt's Creek, but my broad loves that show, so we watched the whole thing, and it's a wonderfully great show. There's a couple scenes in that show where I use for my own comedy purposes, so it's just fantastic.
No, it's wonderful.
We also have the bold and cheating stepmother played by Leslie Mann.
Yep.
Yeah. Who may or may not have cheated on with the leaf blower.
Oh no, she's definitely fucking around.
Yeah. And one of my favorite parts too is when John Lithgow, who's married to her, he sees him like the leaf blower massaging Leslie Mann, and he's like, "What the?"
John Lithgow can yell anything in his angry dad voice, and it's perfect. It doesn't matter. Give him whatever it is, and he'll just be angry and yell, and he's 100% perfect. So yeah, John Lithgow, give him a couple lines, he'll just yell it and be perfect. Like the very end when he's negotiating to try to buy Colin Hanks's entrances to Stanford. He's like, "No, you're not listening to me." He's just yelling at the guy.
Yeah, he's trying to donate like thousands of dollars to it.
Yes, he's trying to buy his way in, which is hilarious because it's almost ironic because it's like Sean can only get into Stanford like the other Orange County kids, as if their families buy something. So it's like it's kind of funny showing that Sean is no better than anyone else, and I think he realizes that too.
Yeah, or Tanya gets in because her grandfather's on the board or some shit. Same thing.
Yeah. That's what's perfect is because Mike White has a healthy hatred of Southern California wealth and rich people, and it makes me happy too because it's like, yep, everyone thinks California's a bunch of idiots, and this movie definitely shows why people don't have a high regard for. Yeah, they don't have a high regard for Orange County for a reason.
Yeah, he's not wrong. Yeah, so he was my next character, so we're good on that one. The next one I have is the Dean of Admissions for Stanford is played by, rest in peace, Harold Ramis.
Yeah, it made me sad because he's really great. He's really great in this scene.
I know, right? He plays a really good straight person and straight guy. Like, oh, this is my job. I can't get you in. He's a good transcript. Can't get you in. You didn't do it in time. But yeah, it made me sad seeing him again because he's wonderful in this as a little side character.
No! Oh my God!
What?
We just gave the Dean of Admissions 3 hits of... And when all my friends were out having fun, I stayed in and I studied.
That's good. That's what you have to do. 82%. Wait a second. I like you. What's your name?
Sean.
Sean, I like you. I do. I don't know why. I just like you. I feel so good. Is it me, or is it like hotter than hell in here? Sean, you're my same height. That is neat. Oh man, the lights are like vivid. That's okay, Sean, because I feel like I've known you forever.
Hey!
I love, like you said, he's a straight guy, and then he actually takes the ecstasy or acid, or whatever he takes, and then he like his line delivery is perfect. This movie isn't hilarious, but it's really, really funny. In the scene when they're driving in the Bronco, which let's talk about a Bronco in a little bit. We'll talk about the Bronco in a little bit,
yeah.
but he's in the car and he's like trying to touch on Ashley. Then he looks at Sean and goes, "Sean, I'm your height." he's like obviously mismanaging that, but yeah, all his line deliveries are like stupid but wonderful and like naively great. He's being stoned, and then yeah, so he's great to have. I love him. I love just him like being stoned, because most movies when people are just like or high, it kind of annoys me. But he does it like so sappily and silly and naively. It's pretty great.
That's one of the points I kind of want to talk about. Is like it's hard to believe that was scripted because he delivers it so like naturally. So I don't know if that was like improv or not, or like they had something scripted and he said that and they just went with it. But it's just so perfect.
I think Harold Ramis is just that good of a comedic actor. Like he directed all those great comedies in the 80s. Like, but I think he's also just was a great like writer too, but also just like good actor. Like he goes from being like, you know, Egon playing the straight face. So like he does that. He always like, even in like in Stripes and Meatballs, he's always like the straight kind of character, and always let like Bill Murray be like the goofy one. But I think a good comedic actor is good at playing it straight, because like that contrast to like the goofy character is what really works. And in this one, he plays both. He plays a straight character, then he has a chance to be the goofy, more, you know, stoned out character. So I think he's worked so long with comedians, and he's a comedian, and I think he's just that good of an actor.
Yeah, and like you said, he writes comedy, so he knows how to do it. Have that balance of like not too far fetched, but then like keep it grounded.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was nice seeing him. Again, rest in peace, obviously. I got two more. The firefighter Ben Stiller, which we already mentioned.
That's like the funniest like laugh out loud scene for me, because like Ben Stiller just plays it so straight and just is questioning him, and then Jack Black is stoned out of his mind and stupid. So like that's probably like to me the laugh out loud like moment of the movie, just like where I always giggle out loud.
And then last I have is Marcus Skinner, the author that Sean is inspired by, played by Kevin Kline, which I don't know if you noticed this on IMDb, Ron. He's uncredited in this. He's not on IMDb.
Yeah, that kind of makes... I think I remember that. I didn't notice it when I was looking at it today, but that makes sense. Like, it's so weird that it's him. Like of all the comedic people, but like, I guess that makes the most sense of like I could picture like Kevin Kline, you know, do this role. He looks like a writer. He kind of has like that...
Oh, he's perfect. Yeah.
That kind of, you know, not like kind of pretentious aura about him, but he's very likable in this. But yeah, I was like, Kevin fucking Kline. Like Mr. Fischoeder himself is here to give the movie its very obvious theme, which is going to be my one kind of criticism of this movie. So I can get into that a little bit later. Yeah,
it makes sense why he's there. I just don't know how the F they got him. Like you said, just like okay, great. He makes it better. He plays the role perfectly. Like it's like when him and Sean are talking, like drinking whiskey. By the way, he's a high school kid.
Yep. I saw that.
He's giving him whiskey, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I'm just sitting there, and he's just sitting, but not too pretentious. Just sitting there, like, I like your book. Your characters is what drives it. I love the girlfriend. She's the best part. Like, he's like, you just gotta have a finish. That's what he said. And one thing that got me out of it is like, really, would a Stanford like professor, I guess he is, actually read someone's like book? Probably not, but again, it's a comedy movie, and it is what it is. It's fine.
Well, what's nice about it, because it's like the whole movie, nothing works out for Sean. So then he gets this little moment where like in the end of the movie, spoilers, like he doesn't go to Stanford, but like he still has that moment he's always wanted, with just like talking with Marcus Skinner. He gives him the advice, and then that helps him. So then, you know, it's a little ridiculous, but like, you know, that's the whole point of a coming of age drama, is you're learning your moment there is nice. So yeah, it's cheesy, but for me it works just fine.
Also, he could have just written back and said, I love your book, just finish the book and let me know. That's all. That would have saved this whole film. We just said, hey, just finish the book, you don't need to go to Stanford to be here. If you just did like a 10-minute little note, just send it back to him and said, good book, just finish it.
So basically, like this is the movie for like Eminem song "Stan," where if you just wrote back to him, we wouldn't have any of these problems there.
God damn it, Marshall! You killed someone indirectly.
Dear Mr. Skinner, my name is Sean Brumder, and I think you are a total genius. I live in California, in a place called Orange County. I look forward to seeing you in the fall, Mr. Skinner. Your greatest admirer, Sean Brumker.
Watch the road, dumbass!
Marshall, Marcus, assholes. It's M's.
I know, right? Fucking writers and English teachers, am I right? But that's all my characters I have. I have written down. Did I miss anything, you think, on all the characters?
No, I think that's all kind of the main characters that's noticeable. But yeah, those that's what to me makes the film, because I'm rewatching it. Was like, yeah, it's not bad, but I think just the more you think and talk about the characters and how they all interact and how they just basically incompetently mess up Sean's life is what makes them fun. But that's the whole point of the movie. Like Marcus Skinner tells him is you love these characters, you love your family, even though they drive you crazy, and that's kind of what makes Sean a good writer, which we never get to actually read it, but we just got to take everyone's word for it that he's a good writer.
I think one of my notes is I think basically the book is about his family and his adventure or dealing with his family. I'm assuming it's basically the film up until the Stanford issue.
Yeah, no, it's they describe the characters. They're literally carbon copies of his family. So he's a writer. They say, write what you know. And it's kind of I guess the character himself just wants to get out of Orange County, and that's kind of the whole thing. Yeah. So yeah, it's a simple script that ties into a simple kind of thing. So it's cyclical. It's meant to be, an echo of the story in the movie and the story of the same thing.
That's what I have for the characters. Do you want to go by the questions you usually ask now, or anything else you want to add to that?
No, I'm good on characters. What's something else you like about the film besides the characters themselves?
I think we kind of hit off the three things I love about this film. Character driven. I love every single character, basically. I love this. It's such a simple plot, but it really isn't. That's why I didn't want to do such a crazy synopsis, because if we do synopsis, it kind of just sounds like a cheesy comedy film, but when we talk about the characters, it makes it so much better. I also said my last thing was Sean's book is literally just the film up until this he tries to get into Stanford. Those are my main three things I love about this film. I know we kind of beating a dead horse with the characters, but that's the main thing I just want to talk about for the three things I like about it.
Yeah, let's talk about the Bronco.
Oh, the Bronc? Okay, what about the Bronc?
So, a little behind the scenes here. Growing up, we both grew up around Broncos. Danny's dad is obsessed with Broncos, so we've always had Broncos. So just seeing one in this was funny. And then one of my so this is more of an inside kind of joke to us, but one of my favorite lines of the movie is when Jack Black is trying to make his grand escape and run away, and he falls down a hill, and then one of my favorite line deliveries is,
"Shut up! That's awesome, but I am going to prison." What? Yeah, some cops are right on my ass. Now listen, I've been thinking about it. We are going to Mexico, buddy, right now.
Okay, all right, fine. We're leaving. But we gotta get Ashley first.
No, I'm sorry. No, that's not in the cards, Broseph. Listen, she'll be fine. Just forget about her. Some dude will pick her up and give her a nice bed to sleep in.
Lance?
Okay, we will go and get her, but you gotta follow me, because I am an expert at escaping. Let's go fast escape. Fast escapes are my expertise. Come on, follow me.
Lance, are you okay?
Go get the Bronco, Sean, and come back for me.
Okay.
Dude! Promise me, dude.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I love that because, he just wants to abandon Sean and his girlfriend and then go to Mexico, and then he says, "Don't leave me though." He just is an idiot.
Don't leave me though. Yeah, the Bronc brought back good memories. My first vehicle I basically ever drove. That was just wonderful. Seeing it, and then Lance driving that Bronco on the freeway just like an absolute madman, smoking a cigarette, telling about I'm gonna make t-shirts, Sean. I'm gonna make t-shirts. No one's ever does. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a out of his mind drug addict, and I love that they're okay with him driving the car when he's just it's not coke. He seems like a pillhead, but he's taking something that's Adderall, something that's getting him all hyped up. He's just like swerving through traffic, screaming, like losing his mind. And then Colin Hanks like yells a lot, and he sounds just like Tom Hanks when he yells. It's kind of a funny like connection there of just like he's just yelling to pay attention. Yeah, he's stoned out of his mind, saying, "I'm gonna do a shirt. I'm gonna make millions of dollars making shirts."
Well, doesn't he say like it's a smiley face on a shirt or like "Have a good day" or something like that?
He says like loser. He says I'm gonna have loser or talk to the hand. Something stupid, kind of like You remember like the '90s when they had like those little sarcastic little bunnies? Is kind of like those like memes before they were memes. You go in like a mall like Hot Topic and you get those little bunnies they'd be smiling and they have like little sarcastic sayings beneath them. Like it's kind of like those, like in like the late '90s, 2000s, malls had those sarcastic kind of T-shirts you would wear and whatnot, show how cool you were.
Yeah, anti-establishment, even though you bought the shirt.
Yeah, exactly. It makes me laugh now because like the ones I see that remind me of this are like the ones that people like were say like be lions, not sheep. I'm like, you do realize you're wearing all the same shirt, making you a sheep kind of thing, those kind of uber conservative things. It always makes me laugh. Anyone who kind of says, I don't follow anyone else's rules, but I dress just like the same person right next to me, but I'm hardcore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you bought a $15 shirt that many people have, yeah, of course. It's probably made by the same umbrella of the same companies that you don't like. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the soundtrack. The soundtrack's weird. If you look up the soundtrack to this. Oh God,
yeah.
So yeah, when I was listening,
yes, that fucking song. Sorry to interrupt you, but that fucking "Come Come My Lady," that fucking song sucks. I hate that song.
Yeah, that's
God, damn it.
So this is the funny thing is like, is a couple like in August when you and I talked about doing this movie originally, this song came on. My wife and I were driving and it was like 2000s or 90s kind of music, like hits. We're just kind of listening to it. And the song came on. I said, what do you think? Like, what movie do you think of when you hear this song? And I can't remember what she said. She said some kind of movie. I said, I think of Orange County. And I kid you not, that next week you texted me when we talked about podcasts. You said Orange County. I said, I was thinking about that movie the other day. So it was like a weird coincidence that lined up. But yeah, the Butterfly by Crazy Town is probably like the worst song ever. And it comes out of like the 90s, almost like pop, hip hop. Kind of, like they dress like there's some 41 or Limp Bizkit, and it's like this awful pop song, but it's super duper catchy. But yeah, like it's an earworm. Once you get it in your head, it's impossible to get out.
It's perfect for this film because like Sean hates it and it's wonderful, but I hate that fucking song.
But yeah, it's perfect though because like at two perfect moments, like when the cheerleaders are dancing to it because Sean's feeling. He doesn't get what he wants. He's walking out of the counselor's office, and then he's just surrounded by this shallow people, these stoners, these people just breaking out into like a flash mob for Butterfly, and he's just like, I just gotta get out of here. He feels sick, and then later he meets that girl.
Not to interrupt you there, just going back, like that one girl's like, I just got into, and she looks at her thing, Yale.
Yes, that scene's perfect of like showing how frustrated Sean is with everything in his life, and then later when Sean's walking around Stanford when he's at his lowest moment, he meets a girl who's reading Faulkner, and like he thinks that she's educated or deep, but then it ends up being she's reading it just because she has to and hates it, and then she starts dancing to this song, and it just shows Sean's like it's a good moment for Sean to realize doesn't matter where you kind of go. Like there's dumb people, whether you're at Stanford or you're like in Orange County, people like aren't as depthful and knowledgeable and want to have deep college conversations. They just want to party and be silly too.
Yeah, I can relate because when I was at Harvard for 3 years, I met some of the stupidest people of all time. But I digress. But yeah, that when they play that song the two times for the come to realization moment or out of body experience for Sean, it's perfect, but I'm like, damn it, you just picked the perfectly worst song. Damn it.
Yeah, looking at other songs on here, they've got like kind of like Southern California, like kind of beach or kind of, pop punk. Like you have like The Offspring around there. You have Social Distortion has a couple songs on there. Foo Fighters have a song on the album. I don't remember it in the movie, but I'm looking at it. They have Cake on there. I remember them in the movie. Brian Wilson's on there twice. You can't have a California beach movie without Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. And then a bunch of
the one song, the ending song or the random song. I love that. I forgot what it's called.
Love and Mercy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. That's a great song.
Yeah. So Shane and I talk about this all the time in movies. Like, you don't get a lot of soundtracks that coincide with movies anymore. You get a few here and there, but really you don't get a lot of them. But that was a big thing in like the 90s, like mid 90s, 2000s. A lot of soundtracks because you had CDs. Nowadays it's all streaming, and you don't need to make a compilation, CD, because you can just stream whenever you want to. But yeah, we always talk about like missing those days when you get like a good movie soundtrack. And I wouldn't say this one's a good one, but it fits it well. A lot of the music's kind of obvious, like when Sean falls into like the pool, which is a great scene, by the way, we haven't talked about. But he gives up and just falls into the pool, and song talks about falling down. And then Jack Black does one of the funniest weird things ever. What does he do?
Oh my god! Jeez, there's so many funny moments where I laugh out loud. I know we keep saying the same thing, but when he's like, Sean, and he runs into the pool, and he's just in his underwear, but he runs in and it takes off his socks as he jumps in the pool. And the way he runs into it and then flails and jumps in the pool is just so goddamn funny. I don't know why. It's just what I think I used to jump in a pool just like him for years, just to mimic it.
Yeah, well, because it's so ungraceful, because nothing that Lance does is smooth. Like, Lance burns down a building, so he's going to scale the wall and like break in and all these things. Nothing he does is artful at all. It's all just slobbish and boorish and stupid. And that's why I think people who look back on this movie will remember Jack Black for sure, which is good. But I think all the other characters and scenes that don't have him are just as funny. Maybe not as laugh out loud, but they're the subtlety. The writing's good.
Yes, the subtlety to everything, and then Jack Black comes in and just murders, just doing him what he can. And the wig got to me. I'm like, oh, that's a wig for sure. Like, that kind of took me out of place. I don't know why. I'm like, that's a wig.
Yeah,
it's what it is.
I didn't notice it the first few times, like seeing it, but yeah, you can tell like it's extensions or something in his hair. Is like, but like, yeah, it's something. He looks. I think he's had that look before in movies, but like it doesn't look, cheap movie. But it doesn't matter. It's a comedy. Who cares?
He's probably the same wig that he used in Anchor. I think he had long hair in Anchorman when he punts the puppy.
No, he's like he's the biker, isn't he? Or does he have long hair as a biker? I don't remember.
I thought he did, but I don't remember. Like the 4-month thing kind of fucked me up. But I interrupted you. What were you gonna say?
I don't remember. Oh, the funny thing about this movie is this movie has an 83-minute runtime, but the actual movie, if you count like the end, so the end credits and then the beginning credits is like 73 minutes. This movie is so bare bones. This movie is
it's wonderful. It's great. It's short to the point, and then like it's a perfect like Sunday afternoon movie. If you've seen it before, you can put it in the background, and it just kills an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I think it also, because I remember this one being on Comedy Central a lot, which being 73 minutes lends itself to a lot of commercials. So I guarantee, my cynical part of my brain probably thought like they probably cut this down to as bare bones as possible so they could get more commercial breaks in there and not have to edit out anything in the movie. That's my cynical part of the brain. But speaking of like forgotten things, I was trying to find information on this to see, because I wanted to hear like what like Mike White's like background for writing this. There is nothing on this movie. This like they put no extra money in this.
Yeah, I was looking it up when we initially started doing it. I couldn't find a single damn thing about it. No interviews, nothing. I tried to look up like Jack Black about Orange County, Mike White, or anything like that. There's nothing on it.
The only thing you can find on YouTube is I found Roger Ebert interviewing the entire cast, because he gave this a good review, kind of like similar thing. It's like a coming of age with some silliness. So he liked it just fine, but he interviews Jack Black, John Lithgow, Colin Hanks, and Skylar Fisk. I think it's Ashley, the girlfriend. So like that's all I could find is like 4 minutes, and then a bunch of TV ads you could get. But then I looked at the Blu-ray today. You could purchase it. There's like no special features on there. I think maybe there's outtakes. So like they didn't save anything for this movie. So it's very much like a forgotten film. So like it's like I get why. Like it's simple and it's funny, but there's I guess I don't know. I have to. My cynical part of my brain goes, MTV wanted a movie, so they made one. And they kind of put it together. But
this was before School of Rock, correct?
Yeah, that was 2003.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, School of Rock is 2003.
I think so.
Wow. Okay. Oh yeah, that makes sense for timing wise. Yeah. But,
yeah, this is before...
Yeah, I agree with you on. I agree with you on that. MTV or Comedy Central just put something up that we can put on, kind of thing. They probably did better on DVD sales, I would think. I
think that I remember seeing this on cable. This is a cable movie. Like I saw this so many times on MTV or Comedy Central or whatever else Paramount owned. So I'm pretty sure they made a bunch of ad revenue just replaying it over and over again. This one, remember the movie Envy? The Envy with Jack Black and Ben Stiller, where like the Jack Black invents like the vaporize where it makes dog shit disappear.
Oh, I was just thinking about that film like a month ago. I always vaporize. Yeah,
it's a similar time.
The commercial thing for it. Yeah,
similar time frame. And Shane loves that movie because Christopher Walken plays a homeless man who gets shot in the back with an arrow.
Oh God.
Shane has a weird obsession with Christopher Walken, probably because he does a pretty good impression of him. But this is like that time period, right before Jack Black got big. And if you don't mind, can we make a little tangent on Jack Black?
I would always love to. It's a perfect day to talk about Jack Black every day.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So like 2003 is like School of Rock, and I think that's what really got him big. Was like because like that was a family friendly and a very lucrative movie. I think it was also MTV actually. For them,
maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
It might be that one, but that was Mike White. I think directed it. No. That was Linklater, right? Linklater directed it. Mike White wrote it. And then Jack Black had a really big part in getting the music and making it. Which check out our podcast on that one. We love that movie. But Jack Black is now to everywhere, and now since this year, 2024, people have turned on Jack Black for a couple of reasons. And only you will appreciate this. When I was watching this movie, I was thinking to myself, like, it popped up, like, the Jack Black Tenacious D had to cancel concerts after Kyle Gass made a comment. And I was thinking to myself, only Dan is going to appreciate this. I was thinking that was the most Hollywood Jack thing that Jack Black could do to Rage Cage, is like cancel the shows because Jack Black doesn't want to lose his movie deals about a somewhat controversial thing that Cal Gass said on the thing. Only you're going to understand that reference there.
This is the ballad of Hollywood Jack and the Rage Cage. Nothing could stop him when Jables and Rage hit the stage.
US comedy rock band Tenacious D has found themselves at the centre of an international incident.
Yes, the Rage Cage bubbled with rage. He looked at the ground and he looked on the stage. The lava was flowing and broiling inside the old cage. Happy birthday to you. Make a wish, Canada. Don't miss Trump next time. And Hollywood Jack hit the big time and went to make movies. Rage Cage was left far behind in the dust of his dreams.
Kyle Gass issued an apology on Instagram stating, "The line I improvised on stage Sunday night in Sydney was highly inappropriate, dangerous, and a terrible mistake.
No one respected him, they just rejected him. No one would represent Cage. Left on the streets of his dreams, he would cry and he'd rage for the stage."
But Black went further, seemingly imploding the group of some 30 years on the spot. After much reflection, I no longer feel it is appropriate to continue the Tenacious D tour, and all future creative plans are on hold.
As Hollywood Jack climbed the ladder, starting before him.
Who are you?
I'm Steve. Flew right out the door. He'd make millions and then he'd go out and he'd make even more millions. He'd scream Cage's calls and snort coke off the ass of a whore.
Oh, Hollywood Jack. Ah, ha, ha. Love it. Hollywood Jack. Oh.
Yeah, only you will appreciate that right there. But I was
Maybe a
thinking,
couple of our friends, but yes. Ugh.
yeah, but
yeah, that's sad. Yeah.
well, that's
but I don't think they canceled. I don't think they canceled show. I think Jack Black's like, we probably should do something, and I think he's such in big films now. His PR person's like, you got to cancel everything because you're in all of these Hollywood films. You have to say something, cancel stuff.
Well, I think he jumped. He's so reactive. Like, it's so reactive because, like, I don't know. I don't want to get into the idea of like cancellation and things. It's annoying to me about what counts as canceled or not. But it's like, to me, if you're gonna be Tenacious D, who made a whole album about like talking shit about Trump, in 2020, and do a whole like when we saw him on tour, that was their whole thing. I bought a shirt that says "Make America Metal Again," or was it say like "Make America like something again"? I don't know what it was. It was some kind of Tenacious D.
I have a shirt. I have a shirt that says "Make Metal Great Again," but that wasn't at that festival, or was it
at that festival? It was like Tenacious D 2020. That's like their whole joke, and then like and like they make a off-color comment that was inappropriate for the time, and I was like, now you guys are just gonna like play it safe, and I'm like, it's lame, but that's Jack Black has millions of dollars of movies. He needs to stay family friendly. I was like, that's lame. Like Tenacious D is like known for being vulgar and inappropriate, and
yeah, that's literally their thing since, which sucks.
Lame.
But yeah, we're disappointed because I think we were talking about seeing we for sure want to see them again, but probably not now. But going off like Jack Black's like this early 2000s, like he did this, he did School of Rock, he voiced Shark Tale, he did Shallow Hal, but that was a little bit earlier. That's a different story we can get into for Shallow Hal. He did Nacho Libre, which is a great film, which you hate. We could do that another time too. But he went off on like films, and then he just kind of like was low key for a bit, and then he got big again. Maybe he had when he got Kung Fu Panda, and then now he's in basically freaking everything.
Well, yeah. Well, he became family friendly. He did Kung Fu Panda. He did those Jumanji movies, then those Goosebump movies, and I get there's more money. There's more money in doing those, and those are fun. But then, that's for me disappointing when your roots start out by being Tenacious D and singing wonderful songs. But it's fun. I think he's becoming like The Rock and Kevin Hart, which they were all in Jumanji. Is like they're just in too many things. So they're getting like seeing him in the Minecraft movie where he looks like a homeless person. I'm just like, why are we doing this? He's getting overbearing.
I know it's disappointing. I know, which we grew up with Jack Black as School of Rock and then Tenacious D, and it's going to. He's doing the 180, which sucks. And then Kyle Gass is just sitting there with his thumb like, what do I do now? Poor Kyle Gass.
Oh, well, but he still got some good movies we like. I still like him in that. What's that one where he's accused of being the murderer? Is it not Barry? What's it called?
Oh, Bernie. Right. No, I think he stuffs that old lady in the free. Oh, spoilers, I guess.
Allegedly, but yeah, that's a wonderful movie. It's Linklater, where it's more like Jack Black's kind of playing. He's goofy, but he's also like a more serious kind of character. So that's actually
everyone
a really good
loves
movie.
him.
I like that one.
Yeah. Oh, Be Kind Rewind's another like different one too.
That's a movie I want to revisit. Where it's like that was one of those movies I saw indie where it's like, oh, this is what comedies can also be, not like these outlandish ones. They could be very subtly and kind of fun. So that's a good movie. Check it out. That might be the next one we do.
Mos Def, right?
Next, yeah, Mos Def, and I think that was a
okay. Thank God I wasn't racist. Film. Jesus Christ.
No, you're not. You're not Shane. Shane's a different kind of racist. But wrapping up, we always end with the last question: is one thing you change about this film? Is there anything you change about the film at all?
I thought about this for a while, and I couldn't get anything. I did some points, and I'm like, no, it doesn't make any sense. But I got to one where I'm like, I would do this scene where they go up to do the college admissions, I would have Harold Ramis still in his office working late instead of going to his actual house, because I'm like, dude, back in the day, did they really have his actual address on the registrar, I guess you would say? Like, that's, I guess maybe back in the 2000s, that's anybody's game. But, like, I would have, they just walk over to the next building, like the main building. The dean of admissions is still in his office, and he's working late, but he's trying to leave because his family's going out of town. I would do that scene instead of them going to his actual physical house. And I would do it where, like, his wife keeps calling him on, like, his work phone or, like, his work office phone. Like, where are you? He's like, I'm trying to wrap stuff up. Oh, I've got a headache. Do you have Advil? And then from there, do that. And then maybe instead of driving over and doing that scene, they're walking over to the building. And he's super high and does his scene there. And then, like, he, like, looks up and the building's on fire. That's the only thing I would change. Is just to have the building next door, seeing it go to the actual building instead of going to his actual house. If that kind of, like, makes sense. I just think it's weird going to his actual house if his kids are there.
Yeah, I think he just has to, like, kill more time in between, like, the drug kicking in and giving Lance time to get high and burn down a building. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
My biggest criticism of the film is, like, it has to, like, break the fourth wall and almost explain the theme to us. Like, I don't like how obvious it is. I think when the scene with Marcus Skinner is enough for us to learn and get the point of, like,
I want to be a good writer, Mr. Skinner, but I'm just afraid that if I don't get out of Orange County, it's never gonna happen.
What I took from your story is this: that even in a world where people can be superficial and stupid and selfish, there's still hope. Was that the message you were trying for?
What it is, the very end of the movie, Sean comes home, and then his dad says, "We brought you into Stanford." He goes upstairs, he stares and has a moment, comes down, and then he has to, like, sugarcoat it to his family and talk about Faulkner and Joyce, and then say, "I'm going to stay at Stanford," as opposed to, he has to, like, it's a very indie kind of moment where you have to listen to, like, the Love and Mercy, but, like, they have to, like, basically, just tell us, I love you guys, and I'm going to stick around, and I don't have to be a writer from Stanford to write good books. I can write here, and then to me, it seems a little, like, juvenile and easily, like, wrapped up. There's no consequences for all the kind of heinous shit they kind of get involved in, but it's almost like spelling it out extremely to the audience, as opposed to just, like, Sean gets home, he hears it, and then he says, I don't really need this, but I don't know. It seems a little bit too on the nose to overly explain the theme of you don't have to leave, or you can still be successful from your hometown. You don't have to abandon it entirely. But it's fine. But to me, it was a little bit hit me over the head.
That I can see. I agree with you on that. But again, I think it's going back to the point you made about they just wanted a movie make a movie, so Mike White was like, just do this, it's fine, keep it, maybe wrote it kind of quick, and then I'm a simpleton, so I kind of am like, okay, cool, that's fine, I like it, I just like, I like to go from extremes to this sometimes, so for me, it's always nice just to see it blunt out, even though I know what it is. It just kind of like a little heartwarming, like, oh, nice little story, little comedy. So I think it for a little comedy that's low budget, it's perfect for it, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to know about, like, I wanted to get an interview with Mike White to see, like, when he wrote this, because it seems like he wrote it in college. I'm trying to figure out if he wrote it, like, as some kind of movie deal, because Mike Wright's a writer, so I'm assuming he's probably an English major, because it's very English majory, talking about, like, Joyce, Faulkner, and Toni Morrison. So, like, it feels like Mike White is the Sean Bremner character. It feels very true to real life, so that's why I was interested to know, like, was this something he wrote in the past that he kind of dusted off and made a deal with MTV, or was it, or did they just say, hey, we need a movie, here we go, because this is still early in his successful career of writing, because next year, like I said, is School of Rock, So I don't know for sure if this was an early script or like he just wrote this one. It's a passion project, or kind of like Stephen King. Like most writers write about themselves. It's just that's what they do. Writers write about what they know. So it feels very not autobiographical, but very kind of close to home to Mike White. So that's why I wanted to know more, but no one cares enough about this movie besides you and I to to talk about it. So
I know, right? I think we can get Mike White to do this. I think we can.
I don't think he cares.
We'll do a social media thing for it.
He's like, oh, no one cares about that. I'm doing HBO TV shows now. I'm making Emmys. No one wants to talk about this besides us. But that's really all on my list there. Do you have anything else you want to do to wrap this up?
Not really. I was going to mention the loose connections to other things we've done, but I think you hit the nail on, and more, honestly, on that. But I guess we got to do Minecraft for our next one, because if we're doing Jack Black films.
No, but instead, I think Big Con Rewind might be a good one. That might be a good glass half full, like a forgotten film, and that one's extremely nostalgic for a lot of reasons. So maybe that might be a good one for us to revisit.
Especially with the age of no more DVDs or video, or especially going even back VCRs for that matter, or even Nacho Libre, which we've talked about. I've asked you about Nacho Libre so many times. Yeah.
So, Denny, would you recommend Orange County to anybody out there? Who would you recommend it to? Because I'm sure both can recommend it, but who would you recommend Orange County to specifically?
Oh, man. That's a really good question. It's got to be... There's no way anybody, this new generation, I don't think they would appreciate it. It's got to be people like our age, people that grew up in the 90s and early 2000s that understand this film. I would even say people that love Jack Black, because I think... especially the new generation, because all they know Jack Black as Kung Fu Panda, voice of Bowser, right? And then other things. So, like, you can't recommend to anybody that's younger audience. I think in that middle ground of people our age who haven't seen it or even haven't heard of it, maybe people big fans of School of Rock, if you listen to our podcast about it, or just that realm of movies. This same time of it. That's the only thing people I can think of to recommend this film to.
I'd recommend it to people our age, because like 30s and above, because you'll see all these actors in like these smaller kind of roles. I think you'd appreciate like the cameos for sure. If you like, I don't know. I think a lot of scenes are like not like hilarious, like laugh out loud, but they're very kind of, subtle, and they're really funny, and like they're things like this time rewatching it, I really enjoyed the Bob character, which we didn't talk about Bob, but Bob is, but his character, but his character is kind of used as like a fun catalyst of like slapstick humor and whatnot. So I think that like anyone who likes subtle comedy would enjoy this, but it's not like a laugh a minute kind of thing. But I think if you appreciate characters and subtle writing and very short, very brief, like you said, Sunday afternoon kind of film. Check out Orange County for sure. If you're a Southern Californian, yes. I think you'll appreciate how stupid we look, and this is kind of captures how everyone in the world thinks of us, or at least in the country who hates California. But like, that's why it's like the stereotypes of why people hate Californians.
Yeah, us Yankee fans would probably love it because they hate the Southern California people.
Okay.
Which I can go on a tangent on that one for about 6 hours. But anyways.
Well, thank you for listening to us here on the podcast. Hopefully you'll be hearing from us soon for our December winter holiday podcast coming up at some point. Maybe end of the year one, wrap up. We're hoping to get the three of us together for December. We want to do bring back the annual Christmas podcast because we've got a good idea. Yep. It's a wonderful.
We've got a really good idea.
So
it's going to be wonderful. Welcome to Mooseport. Once we're finally going to do it. So excited. Ray Romano, going to be wonderful. If not, it's going to be Nacho Libre.
Of course, but if you're still there, we appreciate you listening, and thank you, Hobo Dan, for making time out of your busy Under the Bridge downtown schedule to be here. If you're still here, follow us on Instagram, subscribe or like on YouTube. I'm going to add our School of Rock podcast on there, so you can go back to that one, because that's one of my favorite podcasts we've done was that one. Check out our Dexter one if you like Dexter, where Dan and I spend way too much time talking about our favorite seasons of Dexter, and then maybe in the future we'll talk about another TV show that we both were obsessed with as children.
Hint, a little bit of a tease there. I love it, Ron.
Okay. Well, Dan, get us out of here.
What do you want me to do?
I don't know.
No. Maybe, what if I just play, like, some clips of Nacho Libre, of monologues of Jack Black? I think that's pretty good.
Or I could do the worst ending, which is the Minecraft one. My name?
Yeah, that works. Or do the Kyle Gass joke.
Oh, how about
where he said, let's shoot right?
Oh,
that one you gotta edit out. That one was harsh off the tongue for me too. Oopsie.
At the end, I'm gonna say, "Wow, Dan, stay in your room. You're an embarrassment."
See, I got too much build up after being blacked out for 4 months. Sorry about that, folks.
And we're out.
Straight person and all straight guy, like, oh, this is my job, I can't get you in. He's a good transcript, can't get you in. You didn't do it in time. But then he takes whatever, you know what I'm saying.
Ecstasy.
Can't say that word. Ecstasy. Thank you. Sorry, I can't say that in Simonin. So.
Oh my god.
I know, right? Yeah, because like for context, I kind of mentioned it in my horrible synopsis, but Jack Black accidentally burns down the admissions building, and then he's outside. Jack Black's outside talking to Ben Stiller, firefighter, and he's like, "So what happened here?" He's like, "Oh, the girl was like, oh, I'm gonna burn this mother down," and I'm like, "No, you're not. No, you're not." You probably can play it, which is a lot better. And then like Jack Black just runs off, and then Ben Stiller just goes straightly says like, "Guy," or I don't know the actual thing, but guy 5'10" running off, no pants. And like when he says no pants and he just walks away, I just start dying of laughter.
Like, it's even better because he says no pants and he stops and then he goes portly, which means fat.
Oh so yeah,
it's like the perfect way to end it is like portly.
Portly. Oh my god, that's right. I didn't rewatch it last night. So I'm not as familiar with you, but I've seen it twice this year. So
I
was okay with it.
No, it's just fresh to me, and I'm gonna play the clip anyways because the clip is perfect. Like the comedic timing is amazing.
You. It's perfect.
No, we need an intro. We need like a glass half full. Like what could we say?
Like for the movie, or do you want to do like
one?
Fuck you, Shane.
No, I was thinking like John Lithgow. You want to be a podcaster? You're not oppressed. You're not gay.
Please do that. Or just voice in like me saying podcaster, and then just put it where it says instead of a writer.
Wait, a glass half full. You want to be a podcaster? You're not oppressed. You're not gay.
Maybe I am, Dad. Well, maybe I am Mike White's dad.
Okay.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's in that one there.